and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And how are you? You're floating in a how is it in this post Minghao has a solo world?
It is hard to describe. I think I'm just like so elated in so many ways. But I'm like elated in the sense that I am a helium balloon that is floating, but also weighted to the ground by the fact that I can't actually purchase the music or download it because it's not available in the United States.
Do we want to backtrack a tiny bit and explain? Yes. I just wanted to jump in right away because I know the last 24 to 48 hours have been very consumed for you with the same thing. So tell the listeners what's going on.
I've had a manic, frenzied 48 hours in which my soul brain cell was consumed with the thought of Minghao and this solo. Okay, so Minghao from 17. Recently,
the 8 for the uninitiated.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I always call him Minghao now.
I know.
I forget that his name is the 8. But that's his official, whatever. The song is under the name of the 8. The 8 from 17. On June 9th, which is today as of this recording.
Sure.
On June 9th, 2019, he released his first solo single, which is called Dreams Come True. And he wrote it and composed it along with Bumzu, who is another Pledis artist who works a lot with Woozi and 17 in their compositions. So he wrote it and composed it with Bumzu, and he choreographed it himself. And the performance of it, he had a little debut stage on this show called Day Day Up, which is a dance competition show in China. Mm-hmm. And so he went on that show and then recorded a full performance of the song. And the day that his episode aired was a couple days ago, and they released a teaser, and then the show released the full performance of it.
Right.
On June 9th in China, which was yesterday for us. So yeah, I've just been ever since, because since I have a Weibo now, I can follow. Since I have a Weibo now, that is why I know all of this and have seen all of this. So yeah, I've just been desperately refreshing my Weibo page.
Right. You were very upset yesterday morning. I got frantic messages it's been midnight in China for 45 minutes and it's not there.
Okay, that's an exaggeration, but it was over an hour already.
Yeah, time had passed, and then I tried to help. I went on Twitter and I tried to search in tags and see if I could find
I've already seen these versions.
Yes, I tried, but it wasn't there.
Okay, the reason that I was it is already midnight in Beijing is because that show, I started follow the Weibo account for the show, the TV show he was on. I started following them on Weibo because when they posted their teaser, they said, we will post the video at 0:00 o'clock on June 9th.
Right.
It was it will be revealed. And that show posts so much, almost their entire episodes are in 10-minute segments. Yeah, just snippeted all over their timeline. So I'd have to search through whatever. And then they had this it was they post, I shit you not, every 7 minutes, 17 minutes. They're posting all the time. And then there was a 4-hour blank space where they didn't post anything at all. And I was what is happening? Finally, The 8 posted it himself.
Oh, okay.
And
how dare you count on that show?
I know.
They let you down.
They posted it too, but he did as well. So he posted a full version of it. And the song is, the teaser itself took my breath away immediately because the song is really cool.
The teaser was really, really cool. And when you sent me the full version yesterday, I watched it immediately to be a supportive friend, but I wasn't expecting to like get more out of a minute more of it because I don't love him like you do. But the last minute of the song is really like you do need the full version. It changes completely after the bridge, and there's a cool dance solo, and he finally takes his way too big jacket off.
I know. His whole aesthetic was like, well, you made me laugh because he's wearing like this absurdly oversized blazer with like a shiny like Versace shirt underneath, and you were like, oh no, is she not gonna like the mob t-shirt? And then immediately we're like, no, that's her vibe.
No, yeah, I was going to text you like, ew, but his greasy gangster shirt. And then I remember that you love that look, so I didn't even say anything.
I know, I don't know why, but I do. And his hair is like kind of greasy. If he was wearing a dangly earring in it too, whew, baby. But yeah, the song is really cool. It has like a very distinct whistle, and it like very specifically changes beat and like vibe
totally
in it twice. But the dance is amazing, of course, because he's amazing. And as I was like both lavishing in like pride and joy for my baby Minghao, and also lamenting the fact that I couldn't buy or download it on any American platform.
Right.
Then I learned that all the proceeds of this song are going to charity, to a charity that is basically the like Make-A-Wish Foundation of China, so that, quote, all kids have the right to pursue their dreams.
Aww.
Because the song is called Dreams Come True, and his dreams are coming true.
Right. Yeah. That's really, really unfortunate that there's no way to officially support it. Like it's the same problem that I had many years back with like stealing shiny Japanese things. Like it makes you feel shitty. Like I want to pay for this stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to listen to it.
I want to pay for it because I want to support his solo career in general. Also, like it's a charity, so make that available on a global platform, and then you get to raise more money for your charity, but whatever, Pledis. But also, I just really, like, in my peak stage mom bias way, like, I just want everyone to see it. Like, I just want
wider audience,
people to see this. So I tweeted a link to a Tumblr that has the full version of the performance, because as of this morning when I checked Twitter, like no other full, like the only thing you can find is the like minute 40 seconds version that was originally aired. But I had, like, because I have a Weibo, I downloaded the full version. I have it.
Yeah.
So I tweeted it. And the link is like so. You have to like click to see the full Tumblr in order to see the video.
Sure.
But if it doesn't work,
you're trying to do your part.
I just want people to see it. If you want to see it and the link doesn't work, like email me and I will fucking send it to you, because I just need people to see my baby.
Aw, that's such a good impassioned plea, and I really like it. And I'm happy that you like it. Like it's always
so proud.
You know, like I've had my ups and downs with like Lay's solo thing. So like I know it's always a win when the solo song is what you want it to be.
Yes, when it
you
is
can be
like,
proud of it.
Yes, it's sexy and smooth and cool, and it is just like from start to finish, every aspect of it is very him, which is always like my favorite thing about him,
right?
Which I talked a lot about on our bias episode, so I won't rehash now. But I will throw out that I'm hoping this means like his solo career starts to take off, because he and Lay are already friends, and if they did a collab,
oh hell yeah,
the dance collab with the two of them,
I just got so excited.
That would be great.
Yeah, I would
love
that very
it.
much.
But anyway, that's been consuming my whole thought. My whole thought.
Wow.
For the last like 3 days.
Speaking of consuming, I just have to say that since our last time we recorded and you were like, ooh, I found Superstar SM, I also downloaded Superstar SM and Superstar JYP, and my life has been ruined for the last 2 weeks. And then so many of you guys like tweeted and emailed and Instagrammed us like, this game is dangerous. I'm so sorry that we told people to play it. Like, oh my God, it's so tappy.
So addicting. I am sorry, but I'm also not sorry, because I want you to join me in this pit of mine.
It's so fun. It's so fun. And it's so fun. And I'm so obsessed with my cards. I'm like leveling up my cards, and I have to like check in every day so I get my daily reward. And oh my God. But I'm so proud of you. Did you finish last week in first place?
Yeah, I finished last week in first place on the like bronze, on like the lowest of the low levels. And now I'm bronze too. And I'm in the top 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I think I'll stay in the top 5 for a while because I have like a combined 2 or 3 million something points, but then it jumps up from like 2 or 3 to like 5 and then 6. And then the number 1 spot has over 10 million points. So I'm like, oh, I won't get there anytime soon.
I finished this week in like 10th because the person above me had a full 1.5 million above me. And I was in like 10th. Yeah. And there's no way. And the person at the top of my bracket this month had like 30 million. And I was like, how are you allowed to be in this low of a bracket?
How have they not been leveled up?
It's not fair.
That's very great. That's very strange. Maybe they spent all of their time making sure that they had like super powerful decks.
Sure. I also forget that like there are plenty of people in this world that do actually spend money on in-app purchases. And I would never, but there are plenty of people who like buy stuff.
Yeah. I always forget that. And I always wonder because I see people with like 6 million points on just one song. I'm like, how? How did you score that many points? But you can actually spend real money on this shit.
Buy the best cards.
Yeah. And I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'll just feverishly wait for a fucking Baekhyun.
I need a Seulgi. Why can't we trade? We were saying
I have so many Seulgis.
We've been saying that like the actual thing that would make these games the best is if you could trade cards with other players in the game. Then it would be perfect.
Yeah, it would. Yes, absolutely. It would be perfect because that is the basis of what they're getting at with this whole card
They're
aspect
trading
at all.
cards.
They're trading cards. And you can sell them. Like you have the option to quote unquote sell certain sets of cards or whatever. But you don't sell them to a particular person and you don't get other cards in exchange. You get like money or whatever fake currency they use.
Rhythm points.
Yeah, rhythm points and diamonds.
Okay.
And headphones.
It's the best. Okay. On the note of that sigh, that deep sigh that you made and and talking about SM, before we move on with today's topic, like I just have to say, because I feel like we so very rarely feel this strongly in a negative way about anything.
And because we are SM stans, we like feel the need to
address this.
To come
like,
clean.
You guys, BoA's new song is bad.
It's
horrible. Like actually bad.
Can we play a small clip of it?
Yes, hold on.
I could not. Okay, before the song even came out, I was heavily skeptical about it because I really, really, really didn't like her outfit in the teaser images. Like, I feel like it's been a long time since I've had such an adverse reaction to what is just a shirt. But I hate the shirt that she's wearing. It has like it's like a fake tank top with long sleeves underneath it, but it's color blocked really poorly. So she's wearing like a fake chest.
Yeah.
Basically, it's so stupid. And then the song itself, it's just the word feedback over and over.
I don't know why I don't like it so much, but it just feels like it's not anything.
I think the reason that we were so initially disappointed in it is that it feels like a second-hand, watered-down version of a lot of other things we've already seen from SM in the past 6 to 12 months. The music video is very similar to, I would say, both Countless and Wow Thing.
And I Want You with the flowing,
with
floating in the air.
And Loveline with the like clouds and stuff. And like the aesthetic of the song too, it's like kind of retro and kind of tinny and like it just all seems very derivative and none of it, I don't know. But
it doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything for BoA. It doesn't have a
It doesn't even have a cool dance.
Have real choreography. It doesn't have anything in particular, anything to write home about in the melody of the song. And like her last 2 albums were so good.
So good.
And she's always, I just don't understand. I feel like she's always, all of her albums have been different from what everybody else was doing at the time.
Totally.
Right? Like she always has her own sort of image and style. And I don't understand what happened. Like, how was this such a huge miss? Did someone new take over? Is BoA herself making these decisions?
Right.
And she just perhaps doesn't have very good taste. Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
I also thought it was odd that Ladies Code is back, and their new single is also called Feedback, and it came out like a week before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that at all. But that's very strange, especially because what's with the word feedback? Like, that's not a romantic word.
No,
and
it's either a screaming sound coming through a microphone that's bad, or it's like someone telling you like how you could be better at something.
Right, or it's from my boss, like providing me feedback.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ask my significant other for feedback.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah.
I'm upset about it.
But then
I don't know.
No, and then I was just gonna say, like, I think it will be out when this episode is out, but we are equally as nervous for whatever the fuck is doing. Like,
so
Yoon Boa is in trouble right now.
Yes, I just like the two of them together. I feel like is what, chaotic neutral? I guess if I was to put it in a meme,
sure.
Like, I don't know. I know Yuno has bad taste.
I know
he has bad taste, and I also know that he is the dorkiest dad of SM.
Yes,
and that without Changmin, he cannot pull off half the things that TVXQ asks him to do.
And the only person that loves him for who he is Boa.
And so that, honestly, like, Boa's close association with Yuno is what makes me think maybe Boa also doesn't have very good taste. Not because I think liking Yuno is in poor taste, but because he has such bad taste.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just very worried that, like, SM maybe was like, you know what? They are such veterans that we're just gonna take the kid gloves off, and like they can do whatever they want, and we're not gonna feed them ideas. They can come up with their own, and they didn't realize that was a bad decision.
Sure. Because if you haven't seen the teaser images yet, like, has the peak mullet of 2019 so far, probably.
Yes. So far.
And like in his teaser images, like there are weird slits in the, like weird outfit choices. And then there's one, I literally can't get over it. He put on this Instagram the other day. It's like a still image with a teaser of a song playing, but the still image is him getting into a car butt first. And the like angle of the picture is so crazy. And you like can't even see his face. He's like, it's just like his butt getting into a car.
And it's not just his butt. It's his butt in patchwork leather pants. And like, it's not even a flattering butt picture.
No.
You know.
I know. I personally,
I'm just so apprehensive.
I know.
And that teaser music video that they put out, like, I don't hate the song. I don't hate all of the song. Because what he's been doing is like this album, which is his first solo album. And so that's like very impressive and like good for you. You deserve to have your own solo thing at last. But it's called True Colors. And so like he's been teasing on his Instagram like a new color or whatever every couple days. And it basically is just a picture with like different sound clips of different songs. And some of the songs I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm going to like the way that sounds. But most of them I think I have a groove that I enjoy.
I'm hoping that it has what I find most TVXQ albums to have like a 60-40 ratio of good and like songs I like and songs I don't like. I'm hoping I can at least get one or two that I enjoy off of this album.
And usually that 60-40 ratio is like the fun like pop songs versus the ones that are like heavy noise or like techno or like have a heavy beat, which are often Yuno's solo songs.
Yes.
So I know there's at least one of those songs so far.
But I really liked his solo off the Circle with Taeyong.
Yes, I liked
City
that one
Lights.
too. I really liked that one too.
But anyway, we'll see when this episode is out. We'll all see.
We'll all see.
Head to our Twitter if you have thoughts.
If you want more reactions.
All right. Shall we get into today's topic? All right. So today, what we wanted to talk about is something that I think we have, one of the only things about K-pop that we have a like unique perspective on as like citizens of this nation, which is just the idea of K-pop in America. It's obviously in the last like year just blown up to an unimaginable degree of how much K-pop is touring, how much K-pop acts are on TV constantly. Like it's hit a true high, a new peak. But then there's a lot of this weird fandom fighting about like who did it first and like it didn't matter until BTS did it or blah, 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 blah. So I just sort of wanted to sort of talk about the general history of like how K-pop has presence has grown in America over a very long time, and then just sort of our thoughts about what we think the future might be like, or some pros and
cons.
We'll
look into our crystal ball and we'll tell you what's coming up next.
What we think will happen. Who knows? But to get this started, I have been waiting and looking for an excuse the whole time we've had this show to tell this story, because I think it's really interesting and I didn't know when the moment would be, and I think it's now.
Okay.
So this is the story of the first famous Korean act in American pop culture. And those were the Kim sisters.
Okay.
And they were famous in the 50s and 60s.
Ooh.
So their names were Asia, Mia, and Sue. Asia and Sue were sisters. And their mom was a famous trot singer who had one of the most famous like trot songs ever in like 1935. And their dad was a composer. And then they had a cousin whose dad was also a famous musician. And during the Korean War, the dads got kidnapped by North Korea.
Oh, dear.
Which is bad and scary. But the mom was like, okay, this famous singer mom was like, okay, how are we going to survive? So she had this idea that like she was going to make the girls performers because there were a lot of American soldiers around and they needed entertainment.
Sure.
So she like taught them English songs and like how to be like, you know.
Yeah, like those girls in Swing Kids.
Exactly. And so she adopted Mia, the cousin. So like legally adopted her so that they could get proper like paperwork and stuff. And then some soldiers who like loved them were like, I have connections, like I'm gonna get you guys to America.
Wow.
Which was like a whole process in itself because they didn't have papers, because papers that had been burned in the war. Like people didn't have birth certificates and stuff. So the mom, her name was Lee Nan-young, by the way. She was very ingenious and she like faked papers and she like did everything she could to get the girls to America. And there was a music executive show business guy named Tom Ball, and he saw them and he loved them, and he created a Las Vegas show at the Thunderbird Hotel, which still exists in downtown Las Vegas, and it was called Tom Ball's China Doll Review.
Ouch.
Hold for groans. But they were huge. People loved them, and then they got moved over to the Stardust. So they were like on par with like the Rat Pack, like Frank Sinatra and stuff. People were seeing the Kim sisters like just as much. People loved them. So then they got to go on Ed Sullivan. And if you don't know who Ed Sullivan is, he had a TV show.
Then you're probably not from America.
Then you're probably not from America and you might be very young. But he had a TV show. It was on like for thousands of episodes. It was on every Sunday night. It was a huge...
It's called The Ed Sullivan Show.
Yes. And it was just like a cultural... Everyone watched it on Sunday nights, and it was where anybody who was famous or anyone who was anyone performed on the Ed Sullivan Show. It's like the Beatles moment.
Yes, I was just going to bring up the same. Like the Ed Sullivan Show's most famous, I feel like, nowadays for the Beatles, like American debut. But yeah, the Ed Sullivan Show, everybody went on that show.
So I'm going to play a clip of the Kim sisters on Ed Sullivan. It starts out with a nice corny joke, and they're cute. I'm going to play a little of their song. Then they dance for a bit, and then they all three play the same big like marimba.
Ooh.
It's very cool. So here are the Kim sisters.
And now we have three sisters from Korea who rate among the most versatile entertainers in the business. They not only sing, but they play about 20 different instruments: saxophone, clarinet, violin, vibes, trumpet, drums, and several others. They would have played more, but you know how kids are. They hated to practice. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kim sisters.
The set is kind of music banky.
It totally is. It totally is. I love this kind of music.
They all have like big bouffant hair and long eyeliner and like...
And matching dresses. They're like little dream girls.
And I think I'm going out of my head, 'cause I can't explain the tears that I
They're doing such big faces. It's so good. And oh my God. And now I think they sing in Korean for a second before they dance.
Ooh.
Oh, they have fans.
fans! Oh, dear.
This is so crazy because like Cuban music was so popular at the time, and it's like they're saying "annyeonghasimnika," but
in this like, I know, that's what I was like, what is this like bossa nova like?
It's what was cool at the time.
I know.
That's why it's so crazy. Like now, K-pop groups do hip hop.
Yeah.
This is the same. Okay, I'm gonna skip to their playing their instrument because they're just dancing now, but. They look like they're having a lot of fun.
I was just gonna say, their faces are so bright and smiley. They are really having a blast.
Anyway, they keep at that for a very long time. But the point is that the Kim sisters appeared on Ed Sullivan 25 times, which is one of the high, like more than like almost anybody. So they were really, really, really popular. And there was also a point where they found like 3 random Korean dudes that they called the Kim brothers. And then they would like stand in little sets of like 3 and like sing La Bamba or whatever. It's really crazy.
Wow.
But I couldn't find any more information about the brothers other than them like appearing on their record. So I feel like they might have just pulled them out of thin air to try to like expand the...
Maybe it was like that SM backup dancer group. Like they were really just their band, but they named them the Kim brothers.
But yeah, I just thought that was so interesting because it like sort of... Yeah, that's officially like the first Korean people who were ever famous in America, like officially.
Yeah.
And
they were singing pop songs. So technically they were doing Korean pop.
Yeah, I think there was also like a lot of similarities in that, like, in this case, it was their mom and their dad before he was kidnapped. They said that like the reason they're so good is because their dad used to like slap them in the face till they like sang right.
Oh,
like
wow.
Jackson 5e like beat them. But then as soon as the dad was gone and the mom was like, we have to make this work, she like she said, made them learn 20 instruments and like take ballet, and they were like worked to death to be like perfect entertainers. And it just seems like a nice route.
That's quite a parallel.
Like, what happened. Yeah. So I had to start there before we went because that's like truly the first. And I knew there wouldn't be another time to tell it. So the true first K-pop in America, the Kim sisters in the 50s. So then what happens next? Do you have the next time that we have like K-pop in America?
Yes. So the next time, what I looked up was I mostly just focused on like performances here.
Right.
As opposed to like TV appearances or something, because I actually just realized that NCT is not on my list, but they should be for 2019 because they've been on TV and whatever, they've been bopping around. But the first one that I have, the first like performance of Korean artists in the U.S. or outside of Asia is the Korean Music Festival, and we mentioned this on our concerts episode. But so the Korean Music Festival is a sort of variety performance at the Hollywood Bowl in LA every year. And the first time it ever happened was in 2003. We have gone several times, and they have a lot of different artists. Like they have different variety performances, and they also have like trot singers and like classical artists. And the first year that they ever put this show on, God, BoA, and JYP were the main.
Oh wow,
were the big like K-pop names. So that was so back in 2003.
That wasn't that long ago, but it seems like it wasn't that long ago. But I guess it was 16 years ago because. Time.
Yes, it was.
That doesn't feel.
We have listeners that weren't even born back then.
Jesus, I know. Okay, so good. This is real history because you guys were around. Cool.
So after 2003, I don't have anyone of note coming back to the States until 2006 when Rain came with his 2005 Rainy Day tour and the following tour, Rain's Coming.
Oh, right.
His two of his world tours both came back to back in 2006.
Where do they mostly do like big, or like big cities or
yes,
festivals?
For Rain, he did. He had like his own show. He wasn't playing with anybody else. But so the first time he came, he went to New York, and the second time he went to Vegas.
Okay, that's fun. Vegas is fun. And then
I think he. Well, he comes a couple more times, but he plays Vegas multiple times, and I know at least once he played Hawaii.
So the next thing I have in my timeline also has to do with Rain, and this is like a bit of a bigger pop culture moment than just like a concert landing in the States. In 2008, Time Magazine, or every year Time Magazine puts out these like 100 influential people of the year, and they put, probably because of the tours, the previous tours, and people getting his name out there, Rain was on the Time list.
What year was that?
2008. But he was ahead of Stephen Colbert.
Oh.
And if you were not...
I remember this.
Again, if you're not American, Stephen Colbert is a comedian who for many, many years had a parody news show where he would deliver the news, but he was pretending to be the opposite political party. So it was a very sarcastic,
his character of the news host was a very like conservative political figure, but he, in fact, like it was a liberal media show.
So Colbert was liberal media. So Colbert was under Rain in the list, and he then decided, like as a running gag, that Rain was now his enemy. And it all culminated in Rain actually showing up on the show and having a dance battle with Stephen Colbert. And I have a little link that Comedy Central put together that's just like a montage of all of the times that he like called out Rain being his greatest enemy. So here it comes.
Time asked its readers to select their own list of the 100 most influential people in the world, and I'm right at the top at number 2. Who's at number 1? It can't be. My old nemesis, 24-year-old Korean R&B pop sensation, Rain. Rain! I'm gonna be all over you like egg on a bowl of bibimbap.
So this is Stephen Colbert doing like a parody music video.
When they saw my video, the Korean press lashed out. The Korean netizens swarmed with the voice which censures forecast Broadway Stephen call hemp clod. I am just an
Bad
artist
Google Translate.
trying to share my music with the world, and if I happen to crush a certain Korean punk in the process, folks, this will not stand. He is adorable. Sing. Race rages on. I've been number 1. But Rain keeps knocking me down. I will not have this Korean war end like the last one with a sitcom starring Alan Alda. Rain is now trash-talking me.
Hi, Steven. I saw your Korean pop video on your show. Let's just say, please don't quit your day job.
Well, my day job happens to be the president of the I Hate Rain fan club. Rain, I challenge you to come on my show for a dance-off. Or a cuddle-off. Or a spoon-off. Your choice of fiercely competitive yet intimate gestures.
Hello? Somebody there?
Oh my God, he appears out of the mist.
You're gonna have to come back tomorrow. I don't think so.
Look at his hair.
Oh my God.
He has like a half pony and side-swept bangs. A dance battle is happening and Rain is winning for sure. Oh, now they're on a Dance Dance Revolution machine.
This is the cutest thing. My face hurts. This is so cheesy.
There's sparks coming out of Rain's feet.
Rain? Rain!
He's gone.
Rain.
I love it.
Yeah, so that was the whole bit.
Well, immediately after that, Rain did come back to the States because you said that, well, that was an ongoing saga that happened over several years. But the first time mention of him was 2008, and he brought his Legend of Rainism tour. So third tour that he brought back in 2009.
Okay, 2009 is another, like, one of the biggest chunks of, like, K-pop in America, or a very, a great effort at the very least. So in 2009, the Wonder Girls were very, very popular in Korea. They were pretty new. They had only put out like one full album at the time. But JYP had this crazy idea that like he could break into the American market. Like he believed it so sincerely that he moved the Wonder Girls to New York City. Like they left Korea and they moved to New York. All of the girls had to learn English. And they were just like living in New York and trying to be stars there. So they made...
Sunmi's name was Mimi.
Yes, Sunmi's American stage name was Mimi. And they were just trying to make it work. They released their song Nobody in they had like an English version of Nobody that they were trying to get on the radio. The biggest piece of this was that he did get a deal for them to open for the Jonas Brothers on their tour. It was originally just supposed to be a couple of dates, I think. And then the Jonas Brothers' dad really liked them and like offered them a lot more dates. So it was like the Wonder Girls and Demi Lovato were opening for
Love it.
the Jonas Brothers for like all of 2009. And then, I pulled a clip. This is the end. They were on Wendy Williams, and I just had to pull this because I think Wendy Williams is like one of the silliest like TV hosts that we have here.
She's a daytime talk show host, for those of you who don't know who Wendy Williams is.
But I'm sure if you don't know who Wendy Williams is, you've seen GIFs of her on 100%. The internet.
She's very memeable. She has like big eyes, big lips, big hair, big nails, big boobs. Like,
and her catchphrase is "How you doing?" Yeah, and she's a little like that. But anyway, I just wanted to play this part of Wendy interacting with the Wonder Girls after they did Nobody in English on the Wendy Williams program.
Oh my God, she's a head taller than all of them.
All right. Wait, wait, how do you say it again in Korean? How you doing?
안녕하세요.
And that, yes. Okay. It is so wonderful having you. You're cute as I don't know what names.
All right. Hi, we are the Wonder Girls.
Okay. And okay, wait. No, I have the names. Well, what are your names?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sun. And I'm Mimi.
I'm the rapper, Yuben.
I'm Yenny. Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Zoe. Nice to meet you.
Wonder Girls, and you're opening for the Jonas Brothers, and I understand Jonas Brothers' dad's backstage. You guys, what's your relationship to the family? He manages you?
Yeah.
Very nice. We love the Jonas Brothers here. And we love you guys too.
Thank you.
They now live in New York, and they're making the best of Broadway and the restaurants. I just absolutely love it. That was a terrific performance. We all had your dance moves down and the double clap and everything. Best of luck to the Wonder Girls. Their new single is called Nobody. It's available on iTunes. We'll be right back.
Wow. That's really wild that the Jonas Brothers' dad was their manager for a while.
Yeah, that is a weird thing about K-pop. Like, I still don't really understand how any of it works. Like when K-pop groups are promoting in America or Japan, that they get another label. I guess I get it in the sense of like, if you want distribution, if you want deals or whatever, it's because all entertainment is all about who you know.
Yeah.
So I guess if you sign something with an American label, that then they could get you opening gigs or get you on Wendy Williams, where like JYP doesn't know how to do that.
Totally. And I also think it has to do with like, it has a lot to do with music copyright and distribution laws, that in order for them to distribute their music in certain regions of the world, they have to be in collaboration with
payouts
like certain,
might be different but another very interesting part of this Wonder Girls Live in America thing that, and when I found out this existed, I vote for this to be our next AMA K-pop movie night pick. But they had a movie on Nickelodeon, and here's the trailer for it.
Oh my gosh.
You guys ready?
Meet the Wonder Girls.
Spread the wonder!
They're an international pop sensation. And they're coming to America to make it big.
Give it up for the Asian invasion!
But these haters aren't gonna make it easy.
We'll show you how a real group does it. We don't want any trouble. Too late.
Are they up for the ultimate girl group showdown?
For shizzle. We got a show to prepare for. Let's dance.
The Wonder Girls special, Thursday, February 2nd at 8 Eastern, only on Team Nick.
Faux shizzle.
Yeah, so that whole thing is on YouTube, and I feel like we have to watch it.
We definitely will. I do, before we move on from the Wonder Girls, just want to note that, because I feel like in general, this move to the U.S., this JYP experiment is ultimately regarded as a failure.
Yeah, JYP himself admitted after a couple of years, like, this was bad.
Yes.
I shouldn't have done it.
However, I don't want people to think that it was just like a flat across flop, because in 2010, the Wonder Girls did have a world tour where they played 20 shows in US and Canada, and they were named Artist of the Month by the House of Blues for the month of June. So they had sold out shows like almost for every single show that they did play. So they did have a fan base here. It just like didn't take off the way that JYP, I think, intended for it to.
I was reading, I went and found a bunch of articles like from 2011 or whatever, when everybody was publicly talking about this, and JYP was like, yeah, it was bad. Like, me and Sunny were fought about it. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't good, and we lost a lot of money. There were a lot of comments on that article from people being like, while I understand, like, from a bookkeeping point of view that this was ultimately a failure, like, there were a lot of people who were like, I did see them on TV and I liked them, or I took my sister to see them in New Jersey and it was the greatest time we ever had. Like, it meant something to some people, and like they did get introduced to some people. Like, yes, it did not make them blow up, but like people weren't booing. Like, it's not like they were getting booed and like were homeless. Like,
and they
didn't make a ton of money.
Right. And they did sell out their shows. Like, audiences came to see them. They weren't like performing in sad, empty theaters. So they
it was just financially a failure, which
it just cost more than it made them.
Yeah.
But I have like a lot of questions about this whole experiment. One of which is, if they were partnered with the Jonas Brothers, why didn't they make a Disney Channel original movie?
I don't know.
Jonas Brothers belong to Disney. Belonged.
I don't know.
Here for this Joe Bros comeback.
Oh my God. They said
it's not K-pop, but
I know.
I really
Wait,
love it. But they said they want to collaborate with Pink.
I saw that. No, but I watched them. I had to tell you this. They were on Hot Ones. That show where people
I just watched that last night.
Yes. The part where Joe said that they had to shave every hour when they were filming Jonas because their faces, and the part where they were like, Taylor does what? I was laughing so fucking hard. Okay.
Oh, I know. I yeah, that was a great
Jonas Brothers aside.
Guys, I love the Jonas Brothers.
If it doesn't surprise any of you, we fucking love the Jonas Brothers. Okay.
Before there was K-pop,
we had Jonas. That's very true. But another thing, like just one more note to say that it like ultimately was sort of positive. All of the girls agreed that it was like a very good experience. That like living in New York and not like that living in New York and learning English was like something very, very valuable to them.
Totally.
But people think that they never were able to, like, people just wonder if they hadn't left Korea for 2 years, like, if they could have been so much more popular.
Yeah, because maybe them leaving Korea at what could arguably be called, like, the peak of their career,
rising moment.
When they had to come back, they lost momentum in their from their initial debut.
But so they also didn't. Their second album, when they came back from Korea, also wasn't a flop. Like it fully trended and went to #1 like immediately, like on all the apps for a minute because people missed them. But I guess they never reached what people assume their popularity could have been. But then again, you never know. It's weird because that's what people were saying 8 years ago. Like maybe they blew it, but like looking at it now, we're like, Sunmi is so famous. Like I feel like Sunmi is killing it so hard that I'm just like, I think it turned out the way that it should have. But I mean,
I totally agree. I love Sunmi as a solo artist, and following her through this current world tour that she's on is so much fun. And she speaks great English, so like obviously it worked out for everybody.
But
she wouldn't be such an international queen.
Exactly. But yeah, I just had to bring that up because I feel like it's a thing. Like people just throw around the phrase like Wonder Girls failed America experience. Like they just say that. And I just wanted to explain what all that means.
Asterisk on the word failed.
Yeah. It depends on how you look at it. Okay. The next things that I have are like in 2012 or what do you have better earlier things than that?
The only other things I have is just like SM Town for the first time in 2010 made 2 stops in the U.S. So that was the first time they ever came to the States. In 2011, JYJ and Girls' Generation both came to the U.S. And then when we got to 2012 saw some like bigger names coming to the States because both 2NE1 and Big Bang had world tours that stopped here. But 2012 is also the first year that KCON ever happened. And so 2012 on, you have at least like 5 different K-pop groups coming to the States every year because of KCON. And then that will like every year it gains more popularity.
Adding cities, adding stops.
Even adding cities, adding stops, adding and getting bigger names.
Didn't KCON itself used to be like in the middle of...
It used to be in Irvine.
In Irvine.
Yeah, it used to be in Irvine, which is, if you're not from California, is the middle of fucking nowhere. Yeah, it used to be in Irvine and then it was in Anaheim and now it's at Staples Center.
Yeah, everyone used to have to, looking at these dates, like now everybody can sell out the bigger venues in LA, but people used to have to play in Anaheim, which is near Disneyland, and they'd play at the hockey stadium where the Mighty Ducks play.
Yeah. Or they play in like Newark instead of New York.
Yeah.
Or like, I
think that still happens because I feel like Blackpink and everybody was in New York. Like people still go to Newark.
People still go to Newark.
All the theaters in New York are tiny because it's a very small place and there's not space.
Yeah, and it's hard to grab Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
And was that in 2012 that SM got Madison Square Garden, or was it 2013? I thought it was 12.
I don't know. After the first SM Town, I stopped writing
it down.
I was focused more on like specific people. Yeah, we've talked about it.
I think it's 2012.
Yeah. But I did want to point out that the first KCON ever did have pretty good names for 2012. They had 4 Minute, BAP, XOM, which is the one and only time any members of EXO have ever gone to KCON until maybe this year.
Putting it out into the universe, Chan Yol-seun, come to us.
I'll sell all of my belongings.
She's not kidding.
No, I'm not. Also, Newest, Vix, and Gina.
Newest has been around forever.
Newest has been around forever, and they love KCON. They're coming back again this year to New York.
Yeah.
They go almost every year.
Hey, It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said the next big thing was 2013?
Well, yeah, because then in 2013 is Psy. And that's a whole thing in itself.
Sure.
Like, Psy went on Ellen. He was the first K-pop person on Ellen, another daytime talk show. And then he also played at the American Music Awards, which was the first K-pop award show, American award show performance. And he's introduced by Will.i.am.
Amazing.
Will.i.am coming back into this.
We can't get... Will.i.am, get your hands off my K-pop.
His hands are always in it.
I just wanted to point out, because Shannon and I both grew up in Austin, that 2013 is the first year that Austin has a music and film festival every year called South by Southwest. And in 2013, they did their first K-pop night out, and they were able to get FX was the only real K-pop group that they had. That first year, they had mostly K-punk bands and like an indie group. But did you know that in 2014, Hyuna went to South by's K-pop night out?
I do. I remember. I was already a fan when they I was in when the K-pop night out started, and I remember being like upset just because getting into South by Southwest is very expensive. It's very exclusive, and if there is a place where it's like you can get in free, you wait in line forever and you might not get in. So I never tried to go to a K-pop night out. I would just like watch the streams on Facebook and feel sad, but I never went.
Fair enough. Well, I just wanted to point out that we started with KCON or we really started with the Korean Music Festival to get these sort of like compilation shows. And then we get KCON, and the very next year we get South by. And so it's just sort of like it's a gradual escalation. Like things are starting to ramp up. But in 2013, we still only have an average of about like 4 acts coming every year.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
Oh, okay, sure. So then when 2014, now that we have those yearly things established, I'm no longer going to mention them because they just keep happening.
They have, and they continue to happen.
Yeah, they continue to happen, and they continue to get bigger and bigger names, or they continue to grab up all those new rookies and bring them over here every year. So then we start getting like a bunch of different U.S. tours that start, or world tours that start including U.S. dates. So 2014 gives us like U-Kiss and C and Blue and B1A4 and 2 p.m. VIX.
That 2 p.m.
That 2 p.m.
It's
concert.
like, it's gone. I know, it's one of my, I have to put it out there for any young people who are listening so they can avoid what happened to me. But like, 2 p.m. I was still like I was a newish K-pop fan. It had only been like a year. I really did love 2 p.m. But I hadn't been around long enough to realize how fleeting things can be.
Yeah.
And so 2 p.m. was playing in Dallas, which was 5.5 hours away from where I lived. And I thought like,
I was already living in California.
Yeah, so you couldn't come with me, but it was like, do I want to drive up to Dallas alone, get like a motel room because I wouldn't drive back that night, and like go see 2 p.m. And I just kind of chickened out and didn't do it. And they never came back, and they're all in the military. Like, I missed that moment.
And as I was writing my timeline, like, this isn't for another couple years. It's not, I'm still talking about 2014, but in 2016, when EXO came here, and we were like, no, let's not buy tickets because Lay isn't there. And like, if Lay isn't there, then what's the point?
Right.
And little did we know Lay would never be there again.
Lay would never be there, and they would never come back.
They would never come back.
Yeah. So just a PSA, like, I know that like concerts are expensive, and I'm not trying to be like, sell your school books and do this. I'm just saying, if you ever feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, like, coming from a longtime K-pop fan who's missed a lot of things, I just say go to the concert because you really don't know.
And also just in general, like, if you're ever worried, I don't know if I want to go to a concert by myself. I went and saw Beyonce by myself once because I was like, well, I should just go. I should get this ticket. Like, it's available, and I live really close to Dodger Stadium, so why not? And it was awesome. Yeah. Like, I know, and you went to GOT7 by yourself.
alone, and I'm going to Monster X alone in 2 months.
I'm like,
I can't
no
wait.
regrets. You make friends with the people who are around you because everyone is so excited to be there, and like, you will not regret going to that
You'll
show.
just be like me and be like, I could have seen seen 2 p.m. 6 years ago and just think about it constantly.
Or collectively like, oh, we could have seen EXO.
Yeah, exactly. I guess a backtracky thing I forgot, but we had played the clips on the show before, so I forgot. But in 2012 is when Girls' Generation like went on late night and went on and did their whole like The Boys in English like TV tour.
That was like back around 2011.
Okay, yeah.
Because they did their first U.S. fan meet in 2011, and that was after SM Town came to the States for the first time. And I just didn't go into it because we've talked about it
a bunch of times
on Girls, especially on the group deep dive that we did.
So I interrupted, but that was like 2014 concerts.
That was 2014. So we had like 7 different world tours that made stops here, and then 2015, like the number. So after 2014, the number just starts growing, and it goes from like 7 in 2014 and 2015 to suddenly twice that. 15 different tours came in 2017, and it's just been growing ever since. Like 17 people came in 2018, and so far from January to September of 2019, we already have 19 different groups coming. And it's just so many. The average number used to be 4, you guys, and like not that long ago. 2013 is only 7 years ago that 4 people came.
Yeah, and it was so sparse.
3 times that.
It was so sparse back then, I even remember, and I didn't even do it because of a friend's wedding. And same with like my wedding ruining a concert. There was a music bank in LA, which are free. You just have to like
get there,
claim tickets and get there. And I was way too poor to even be considering it at the time, but I was considering like, how do I fly out there? Because Shiny was going to be there. And I was like, how do I get there?
Yeah.
And
I was in grad school at the time. Yeah. And we consoled ourselves by saying that Mino wasn't going to be there.
Yeah, because he had to stay and host.
Yeah, he was hosting something.
His music bank, so he didn't even come.
Yeah.
But yeah, it used to be so sparse. And now it's just like, now I feel like I have to try, how do we decide? Like the reason I'm going to Monsta X alone is because like we have to budget.
I was like, well, I can't go to all of them. I was like, I can either go to Monsta X or I can go to KCON, and I want to wait and see who's coming to KCON. Because I swear to God, if it's Chanyeol, I'll lose my mind. Anyway, 2015, we got so many people. Should I just list them?
Yeah, let me hear who came.
FT Island, GOT7, it did their first fan meet. Unless I say otherwise, these are just world tours that decided to come. So FT Island, GOT7, Epic High, they come the most. They have been coming here since 2009. Then BTS came twice in 1 year, once in July and then once in September.
Okay.
Big Bang, Block B, and that's it. 2016 was like a weird nothing year where we only had EXO, the like one time they came, and then we had like the regular compilation shows, KCON, South by Korean Music Festival.
Yeah, I guess. And there's also probably, because I'm thinking of one that we went to that doesn't count as like a world tour, but we saw Mamamoo.
Yes.
In
they didn't even, that wasn't even
2015.
Listed.
2015. But yeah, but I feel like that isn't listed because it wasn't like a big world tour. They came to, like, I think coming to Los Angeles and doing a fan meet in a club happens a lot more than you'd think. Because it's like an easy, small way. And especially if you go, like, here in Koreatown, if you, like, go into bar bathrooms, there will be posters for, like, Nugu Baby, like, K-pop groups. And it'll be like, they're coming here. Like, people do come here and put on little showcases and things to try to get, before they're popular, to try to get their names out there. And I would argue that when we saw Mamamoo, they were not very popular
No,
yet.
not at all. Not at all. They were, like, very new. And that was the first K-pop show we ever saw.
Yeah, and it was just so little.
And it was so lovely. Speaking of posters in K-Town bathrooms, Ailey is coming soon.
Yeah, I saw that on a poster.
Yeah. So then 2017, this is when it like suddenly is doubling in the amounts. Like we had 15 different tours come, and these are just tours. We've got GOT7 again, B1A4, Hyuna, she does like 5 different shows here, BTS, Shiny, BAP, EXO comes back for Exoplanet 3, The Exordium, that was their last one, I suppose. G-Dragon, Monsta X first world tour, 17 first world tour, Taeyong, Card, Day6, SF9.
Damn.
I know. And then 2018, it just keeps going. I'm just going to list them all.
Go.
We have Astro, 24K, Zion T, which I didn't realize he came in 2018, and I'm bummed. I would have gone to see him. Red Velvet, Eric Nam, Got7, Up Tension, Monsta X, 101, VAV or VAV? I don't know.
I think it's VAV.
I think so. I hope it's VAV. VAV sounds weird.
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all. BTS, Zico, Day6, Ace, Crush, Minzy came all by herself with a tour called Dance Break, Minzy's Dance Break Tour. Teen Top. Then we had 2019. These are the people who have come so far and who are currently scheduled to come. So I have like people from January to September of 2019. Winner, Oh My Girl, MXM, Red Velvet, Kanaka, Tiffany Young from SNSD, Sunmi, ATEEZ, Astro, Epic High, Blackpink, VAV, BTS, Stray Kids, Got7, Monsta X twice, and Pentagon. And that averages out to at least one a month.
Wow.
Every single month. And that's only the first, what's September? The 9th month of the year? 18. Okay, so 18 acts, that's 2 a month.
2 a month. Oh God, that we're all gonna like that's why everybody on Twitter is so poor. It's like it's happening too fast.
But then Pledis won't take my money.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know what we're gonna do about them. But like just some other things from all of this, like, yeah, this was all, I appreciate you looking up all of these tour dates. This was all like tour date stuff. But like, as far as like in the pop culture lexicon, like with groups coming more often, that has also meant TV time. BTS performed at the American Music Awards in 2017, and then they did the Billboards twice, and then they played at the Grammys this year. They also just recently got added to the Grammy board, so they get to vote now, and they're like the only Korean people on the list because the Grammys is trying, like all American award shows are trying to diversify their voters because they're all old white men.
Sure.
But then that has also meant a lot of sometimes fun, sometimes cringy local news.
Yeah, and I feel like that really reached a peak once the Olympics happened in Seoul. Because before that, I think you very rarely got a, like, what is K-pop article or something. Like, before the Seoul Olympics, we had, you know, every once in a while, if an act was, I think it was like
Psy, like everyone cared about K-pop for 5 seconds because or was interested in it with Psy, and then they forgot again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the EXO on the Olympics and BTS on big award shows. Then people started writing their "What is K-pop" articles again.
And now we're getting these articles that's like how K-pop took over the U.S. and like how K-pop exploded onto the Western scene, and like. I find those articles difficult in a lot of different ways, partially because I feel like in many ways K-pop has not exploded onto the Western scene. Like, you don't hear radio stations here still won't play K-pop.
I've seen it's so, I feel like it is so gross. I have seen so many tweets from like some fuck off morning show zoo station being like, hey, BTS Army, if you retweet this 10,000 times, we'll play Fake Love this morning. And it's like, fuck you, just play it. Like, why are you're just like trying to get likes out of these fans, and like, just play the song. If you're going to play it, play it. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Why are you like,
you're like using the fandom and like
to get your
whole,
social media numbers
and the whole,
up
like,
and like
culture of fandoms and like group work, teamwork or whatever, like using
because fans will do it and
manipulating
it's
it.
gross.
Yeah, fans do it.
But yeah, I feel
which always pisses me off because I'm like, don't feed into their lives. Don't you see they're manipulating you?
Don't let them win.
Yeah.
But yeah, there have been a lot of like very embarrassing gaffes, like the poor sweet Sam Rubin. Like, I know a bunch of N-citizens are like very angry at him, and like, you can be, but people were calling for his firing, but you don't understand. He is a Los Angeles news staple, and like, he has been on my TV every morning since I was a little girl, and like, he can't go away. But when NCT was at KTLA across the street a couple of weeks ago, he said to Johnny, your English is very good. And Johnny said, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
But But then he had to write but then everybody was protesting and calling for his head, and he had to write a long Facebook post being like, their management told us they didn't speak English. But then even even telling someone they're English is good is a little cringy anyway. And they usually end up saying it to people who were born speaking, Mark had it happen to him in Canada too. It's weird.
Absolutely. Joshua and Vernon get that shit all the time too. It's it is always a little cringy to hear someone say, oh, your English is very good, because they always say it with a tone of surprise.
Yeah, oh, that's weird.
And the connotation is always very patronizing. So it's just
microaggression.
Yeah, just don't comment on it. They came to the States to be interviewed in English. Of course, they practiced ahead of time. You don't need to comment on how good or bad their English was, because I guarantee you they did their best regardless of the quality. They tried.
Right.
But what also frustrates me, and it frustrates me because I have a degree in journalism. That's what I wanted to do before I became a teacher. And it must be just, it has to be this undercurrent of xenophobia that is just so enriched in so many different aspects of the United States. But there are so many examples of just fucking lazy journalism.
Yes.
That whole thing about, oh, their management told us that they didn't speak any English. Okay, Google NCT 127 members, and you will immediately see that two of them are from the state, or one of them is from the States and one of them is Canadian. It doesn't take a lot to do the background check that you need, especially, and literally Google any group's members and you get a list. It's a handy dandy page for you. And it's a fact file. And you can even be oh, fun fact, you don't like tomatoes or whatever.
And bring it up in the interview.
It's so stupid.
There's also a huge problem of the wrong pictures of people being used, which again seems like it can only be based in poor research and xenophobia and
blatant racism.
Yeah, just I think it was when NCT was at NCT came to an award show that BTS had been at the last year, and the Getty Images was BTS, and it was no, it's fucking not. There's more of them. It's not. Or people just using fans often get very upset at this, and I don't blame them. It's some CNN or something was talking about Burning Sun or something awful, and just put up a picture of BTS K-pop scandal. No, they have nothing to do with this.
Do your research. Or the a sort of flip side of going back to the manipulation of the K-pop fandom and fervor is, I've noticed when BTS did go to those award shows and sort of no name random models or Nickelodeon stars or YouTubers or whatever, they would be let's take a picture together, and because then they would be photographed with BTS, and I'm ugh, come on, if you don't actually know anything about them and you're meeting them naturally, cool, meet them and interact with them. I really loved Terry Crews. Did you see his interaction with BTS? It was really cute. Terry Crews is this absolutely enormous actor. He's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
and he was in Old Spice commercials, and
he's just this huge dude, but he is the sweetest, softest, most woke person around. I love him. But so he met BTS at one of these shows that they went to, and he was interacting with them or whatever, and there's just this cute little video of them on the carpet, and he bows to them and as he says hello, and his smile is just lit up, and he had learned all their names, and it was really cute. Because he does his research and he is respectful. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I also wanted to call out, because there's a lot of them that you can watch. Good Day New York is a local New York morning show, and it's hosted by these two very pleasant ladies, and they have had BTS and GOT7 and Monsta X, and it's anybody who comes through stops at Good Day New York, and they are so sweet, and they are they seem to do good research, and they're patient to wait for translators, and all of their interviews are precious, and they, even though the segments they air are short, they put the full things on their YouTube.
I love it.
So I totally suggest Fox 5 New York, go watch any of their K-pop interviews, because they do a really good job. And and there's also that really good girl at iHeart, Ellie something. She's great.
Mm-hmm. She really hypes people up. She's a huge EXO fan, and she loves Lay too.
Yeah. But I guess the ultimate point of where I was getting is that what I sort of wanted to talk about this whole thing is we are reaching a point where there is a lot more K-pop like in the American world than there has been before. And so you get a lot of these weird think pieces of like, is K-pop going to take over America? And as a huge K-pop fan, and an American person, I have to say, no, I don't think it will. Like,
it won't.
It'll get more popular, and I hope that it does because it brings me lots of joy. You guys know that. Like, we want more people to like K-pop, but I do not think America as a whole will ever get on board.
No.
American people hate subtitles or like anything that's not in English.
Absolutely.
That's a weird thing that I've had thrown back in my face by like weird drunk people if I'm like, oh,
But
I
they don't sing in English.
How do you know what they're saying?
Mozart didn't write words in his songs at all, but people still love them. Like, what? Fuck you.
Yeah. I just think that like America as a whole is like not very accepting of foreign media. Like I think elsewhere in the world, because like here we have Hollywood that we make most of the entertainment, that other people are used to watching American stuff with subtitles or dubbed into their language. But like we don't do that.
No.
So like people aren't very accepting of it, and people are very eye-rolly about like things that other countries make.
Yes.
And I've had people, and I'm sure lots of you guys have similar stories of like telling someone that you like K-pop and them responding with like outright racist trash.
Oh,
like
100%.
horrible things that I will not repeat that people have said to me when I've said that I like this music.
And
it's crazy.
To be perfectly frank, like when these think pieces of like, is K-pop going to take over? I think the think piece itself has like a racist undertone because like it's a fear of being taken over by another.
They're
like,
invading.
Fucking get over yourself. But I also think the main reason why it won't become like this widespread respected phenomenon is because America is racist in general, and we are very racist toward Asian people, but in a very different way than we are racist toward Black and Mexican and like Latino people, because it's a very it's an understated racism. I studied this in college.
A backhanded compliment kind of thing.
It's called being a model minority because Asians are the quote unquote good kind of minority because they come over here and they make good grades and they do very well and they work hard and they don't cause trouble. Like,
but
they
that
don't
stereotype
protest.
in itself is racist.
Of course, that stereotype in itself is like very problematic, but then also like people do hang on to these like horrible stigma or like these horrible stereotypes and like generalities and assumptions about Asian people. But as a whole, the country doesn't see racism toward Asian people as a problem because the Asian communities in the U.S., they don't quote unquote complain in a way. You know what I mean? Like they're not protesting about Black Lives Matter and like about the detention centers and like ICE and like they don't have quote unquote mainstream problems, you know, like for lack of better verbiage to explain this, but like it's just not seen as, it's almost like an acceptable racism, and it's really fucked up, and people won't, and that is almost harder to let go because it's so ingrained and subtle.
Yeah. And yeah, I do think there will just sort of always be that point where there may be a lot more people who are like, oh, I appreciate this. These kids are dancing very well. But like underneath it, there's still like they're viewing them through like an othering lens.
Yeah.
And like,
And people are always, I mean, this I think is probably just human nature, but people always want to look for the negatives in things, and like you tell someone that you like K-pop and they immediately start like, oh, the machine, the factory model, like these kids are being abused,
they're
and
slaves,
like human rights violations, and you're just like, do you know anything about what you're talking about right now? Like, have you put any thought or effort or research into what you're fucking talking about right now? Especially, like, it hasn't happened to me in a while because I feel like now I've gotten to a point in my K-pop love where, like, the people in my world just know that about me, right? Like, it's just a fact that, like, I love K-pop and everything about it. And, like, you just don't argue with me about it. It's fine. But I don't know. I just feel like I used to get so many shitty questions and comments, and for me being like, you know what, I'm actually somewhat of a K-pop historian and expert at this point, so like please don't come up to me and tell me that you know, like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, you actually have no idea what you're talking about, and I very much do.
So maybe to end this, I will say, as an established fan, I am so grateful that the K-pop companies have felt that it is worth coming over here for me.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that. And then I will also say that if you, the listener, are ever confronted with somebody who has ignorant ass opinions about K-pop, send them to us.
Yeah.
We're here to help so that no one sounds like a dumbass.
Mm-hmm. We'll tear them down. We'll give you arguments. We'll help you tear them down.
Right.
Anything that we can do to promote K-pop and take down racism.
And you can just gently say, you can just, or take their phone, subscribe, open their podcast app, just subscribe to us. They'll learn eventually. All right. Well, that was fun. We will be right back with a random game. Okay, we're back, and we got a boy group like we so often do.
Yes, a 6-member boy group called B.I.G., also known as Boys in Groove, which is a 6-member group from GH Entertainment.
We said right when we pulled this up that this sounded fake.
Yep, Boys in Groove.
I don't know why it doesn't sound real.
Is there, what is that? I don't know. I feel like there's another.
I mean, the notorious B.I.G. is a very famous, like, worldwide known rapper. So, like, already that seems like it's
true.
Treading.
But what's the name of the boy group in Bob's Burgers? That isn't it Boys in something?
Oh crap! I'm looking it up.
Okay,
Bob's Burgers boy. It's Boys
in Motion, or like I don't know.
Boys for Now.
Boys for Now.
Because they're boys for now.
So anyway, Boys in Groove, Boys for Now. They debuted in 2014. One of their members attended Juilliard for violin,
which is a very fancy music school. If you're unaware,
very difficult to get into. And he dropped out in order to be a boy in groove. So they came out in 2014 with a song called "Hello." They just sort of like steadily released music in the following years. Had their first big tour in 2017, but like nothing. I feel like. Nothing really of note happened in these years. Like they didn't win a lot of awards. They didn't go number
have
one.
Any breakout
they didn't
singles.
They didn't have scandals. Like they just existed and like consistently put music out. They had a Japanese debut in 2016.
They also seemed, we saw when skimming on their YouTube channel, they had put out a lot of covers, including a cover in Arabic, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. No, they put out an Arabic version of one of their songs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So interesting.
But they also here's another on today's topic. Like we'd have to get some kind of expert or local to talk about it. But I would also love to talk about K-pop in Latin America because that's a whole other thing. These dudes toured in Brazil, Chile, and Mexico. Like there's a whole other like world of like.
Oh yeah. I've ended up. My research for this episode overlapped a lot because it's easier to find information about K-pop outside of Asia than it is specifically in the U.S. So a lot of the stuff that I found was like people often go to Latin America before they came to North America
because it seems like they're more willing to take on like a foreign, like
absolutely,
more like less stubborn than Americans about it. So like
and that probably has something to do with the fact that like America is the primary hub of entertainment. We
give our entertainment out.
Right. So then like someone in Mexico who listens to I don't know, Justin
Maroon
Bieber
5.
or Maroon 5, they're already used to listening to music in a language they don't speak. So why not listen to it in Korean? Like, who cares?
But like this group, B.I.G., I feel like a couple of times we've seen these groups that didn't seem to get good footing in Korea or anywhere, but were able to go on like a South American tour. So there's something there. Then the last thing on their Wikipedia page is that in November last year, the group's leader just quietly went to the military without telling anyone. Yeah. And the company replaced him with a new maknae.
Yeah,
they just
very
like
weird.
got a new maknae to
push everybody up like while he's in the military. It's very strange. It also seems like it's only a solution for while the leader's in the military, but the rest of them have to go there eventually too. So I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But according to YouTube, their most popular music video is still their debut music video,
which is called Hello.
Hello. So let's give that a watch.
Here we go. B.I.G.
That's the ring ding dong roof.
This is the ring ding dong roof.
Like it is.
Yeah. It just says B.I.G. instead of shiny.
Let's get 'em.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, they're rapping about Gangnam Style.
This is my language. It's a small but kick-ass country.
Oh my god!
You're just Korean. Korea. This is they were listening to us.
They're just referencing things like the Incheon airport.
They're just saying hello in different languages. I'm into this. I support B.I.G.
They're just wearing they're wearing like the exact same outfits that like debut BTS and debut Monsta X wore.
Yeah.
Black, sort of jersey looking, little hat to the side, chain,
bandana, long socks.
The standard debut boy group look of the time.
Yeah. They're just listing yummy food.
Samgyetang is yummy.
So, like we said, this music video started on the roof, and it just takes place in different locations.
But the words,
the words are on the screen.
Very large.
And they have, they're cut with, individual scenes and whole dance. The choreography is fine. It's consistent through the whole thing.
It's not super impressive. It just sort of is.
Oh, now they're introducing all of the members.
Awesome street dancing. Oh, those boys
They're
are
just the hot boys. This is so funny.
This is so many Korean references. This is so crazy.
If you watch this music video, please put the captions on. The chorus is just hello, it's very nice to meet you.
What's up, Annyeong?
Look at his skinny little arms.
He's proud of them, though. He's sleeveless in every outfit iteration.
I wonder if he's the leader. He's the oldest.
Yeah.
Oh, he's wearing a skirt.
All right.
I love it. Boys in groove.
Boys in groove.
Hello.
That was certainly something.
It was something indeed.
Do you have a recommendation for today?
Yes, my recommendation is go on our Twitter and click on that link and watch Minghao's solo. I just need the world to see it. It's called Dreams Come True, and all my dreams for him have come true.
Oh, that's so sweet. You. My recommendation is sort of general in that, I already said to go watch those Fox Good Day New York videos because they're great, but also a fun consequence feels like too harsh of a word, but a fun outcome of the K-pop groups coming here so often is that there is now a whole culture of web shows and people needing content. So now when people come to America, when groups come to America, they go on a tour of BuzzFeed and Vanity Fair and whatever. They go to all the places and they make their puppy videos or whatever. And they're all great. But the series that I wanted to recommend today, because there's a brand new episode of it out, the Fine Brothers, who, if you remember from our first episode, my K-pop origin story is one of their people react to K-pop videos is what got me here in the first place. They did a K-pop stars try not to dance challenge. There's a Momoland version, an ATEEZ version, and a brand new NCT 127 version where they split the groups into like little sets of 2 or 3 because there's so many of them. And then they just show them like very popular K-pop songs like EXO or like Troublemaker or something that everybody knows. And they're just supposed to like sit there and like not dance or move their face or sing along or do anything. And some of them try really hard and some of them say, fuck it, and they just dance. And it's really fun. They're all funny. So my recommendation is any or all of the Fine Brothers K-pop stars try not to dance videos.
Good one. I also I didn't keep up with NCT 127's US tour when they came, but I know BTS did this too. James Corden is one of our late night hosts, and he does a game called the Flinch Game, where like celebrities have to stand.
Blackpink did it as well.
Oh, they did.
So there's a lot of these you can look at.
So James Corden, the Flinch Game, that they basically like he puts this like plexiglass door, and the person has to stand behind it, and then with like one of those crazy baseball guns, he like shoots fruit at the plexiglass, and the point is to not flinch. And I watched the NCT one and it's very funny. So I would recommend that.
Yeah,
as well.
any and all of those. All right, that is that. If you would like to follow along on our weekly adventures or tell us anything, we can be found on social media at AMA Kpop Pod on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to send an email, amakpoppod@gmail.com. We're on YouTube Ask Me About K-Pop, the podcast. And I feel like I have to stop plugging the Tumblr because, God damn it, I have not updated it in probably 30 episodes. I honestly feel like we need an intern. But
the last one was like episode 50 something, so it hasn't been that long.
Okay, but I'm so bad at it. Like I've said before, like my actual job is promoting podcasts, but not my own. So like I don't have time to do those things, but God, I wish I did. Anyway, if you want to look at old links or hope to God that someday I've updated it, amakpoppod.tumblr.com.
And if you want a version of Minghao's solo performance of your very own, let me know and I'll send you mine.
Just DM us at any of those places.
I have a copy of the full 3-minute song and dance.
Love it. She's a video trafficker now. All right.
I just want people to see it.
I know you do. Okay, we'll be back next week. We're going to be playing fun games. We'll see you then. Okay, bye. Chongyeon, you're our inspiration.